The views expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of this station.
Welcome to Insights into Northeast Michigan, a WBKB News public affairs program. Insights deals with the issues affecting those in the community, as well as Northeast Michigan and the state. And now, Insights into Northeast Michigan.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Insights. Today on the show, we are here at NOAA, and we're going to be talking about the film festival that is coming up in a couple of weeks. So for my first guest, I have Jeff Gray. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on.
Good. And to start off the show, I just want to talk a little bit about the film festival. Why is it held here at NOAA, and why is it so important?
Well, NOAA is part of a system of sanctuaries that really represent the ocean across it. So we have this film festival that really celebrates the ocean and the Great Lakes. We bring films in from around the world that really talk about the incredible resources, the threats to the ocean, and the opportunities with the ocean. And it's really been a spectacular thing we've done the last couple of years, and it's grown every year, and it really helps connect the middle of the country with the rest of the world and these ocean issues. It's part of the San Francisco Ocean Film Festival, and so Alpena is one of only a few places around the world that this festival travels to.
Now, how many years have you been doing this for?
This will be our third year.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's grown every year, and we're hoping in future years we'll be at venues across the community, and we're seeing more and more people interested from outside the community coming to the festival.
Now, do people from all over the country and the world make documentaries and come here to the film festival for that?
Yeah, so it's an ocean film festival, so again, it's not just about the sanctuary, it's about the oceans and the Great Lakes. We do have a few films about the sanctuary,
okay.
But these films are submitted to a committee in San Francisco. They select the films, and then we get access to those films to show here as part of our festival. So some of the top filmmakers around the world, environmental filmmakers, have submitted these and have become part of this festival. So it's really special. It's getting one or two of these films is really a great thing to do as a program, but to have a whole weekend of these films really is a rare opportunity.
Now, what are some of the specific things? I know you said it's about the ocean in general. What are some of the specific things people make the films about?
Yeah, well, for the sanctuary, Thunder Bay, we've been around for 14 years or so now, and we've had just a couple dozen films made about the sanctuary itself, and it's been so critical for us to share. You look out on Lake Huron and see how beautiful it is, but one of the things that the films can do is really show people what's under there and give them a deeper appreciation for the sanctuary and the incredible resources that we work to protect. So we've had National Geographic, Discovery Channel, History Channel, Science Channel, PBS, BBC even do films on the sanctuary, and it's so critical for us as we're up here in Northeast Michigan to share with the rest of the world about what we have to offer. So I really think it does about 3 or 4 different things. One is obviously it promotes the area and the resources we have. 2, it educates people about how critical these resources are. And it educates our classroom. We use all these films in our classroom. It also helps interpret this, so when our visitors come, we show these films. And lastly, it helps really promote our research and help bring researchers to the area. So almost every one of the films that we've had done on the sanctuary was part of a larger research project.
Now, how cool is that to see a documentary that's been done on the sanctuary air on the Discovery Channel or Nat Geo? Yeah,
and it's sometimes with these cutting-edge researchers that come with it. We've had Jean-Michel Cousteau, the son of Jacques Cousteau, was here to do a film. Dr. Robert Ballard, the individual that found the Titanic, has done a film on us. One of the top explorers out of the UK came and did a film for the BBC. And so, I mean, really, these international ocean celebrities have come to Thunder Bay and made a film about it. And it's not just a one-time film. These films really have a long life. They show again and again. There's one that we did about 12 years ago that keeps showing, and you can see how much younger we looked back when we made those films. So it's great, and it really, again, tells the story of Northeast Michigan.
And I'm sure these films have an impact on the public. Have you seen specific impact from these films airing?
Yeah, we have, and in 2 different ways. One is that not everybody can swim down to these sites, and so it really helps connect our local residents and our visitors to these resources and get appreciation for how spectacular they are. But it also, again, promotes. We've seen visitors come after an airing of one of these films on say, National Geographic, hey, we heard about the sanctuary and now we want to go try the glass bottom boat. And so the documentary is one aspect, but there's other types of films that have been done as well. We've had short films about our education programs, really highlighting either our ROV program or some of the work we're doing in the Thunder Bay watershed. Those are great because they promote what we should be doing and how we should be taking care of these resources, but also connecting our classrooms and really showing the kids able to show the work they're doing and how much they care about this great place where we live.
Right, and it's so important to educate our youth on the ocean and make sure they're aware of how they're affecting everything in the ocean. So I'm sure that's so wonderful to see all these kids learning from the film festival.
And then they have the product, the film that's produced about them, or in some cases that they produced, they now have something that they can show their family and friends that they've been a part of. The International ROV competition that was here, several little films came out of that they're great. There's really highlighting what kids can take away from this education program, so it can inspire parents and teachers maybe to engage in that program. But it also shows the rest of the world what's going on here in Northeast Michigan.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I know we've talked a little bit about technology, how technology has just changed so much over the course of history, which changes the way the films are made, doesn't it?
It's so true. I mean, there's the technology of editing and then distributing, which is so incredible. That can be done on the web and on a cell phone. You can even produce a video. But then the cameras themselves and the images they're bringing back. And if you look at photography, we used to take a camera underwater with a roll of 24 pictures, and if the pictures came out or didn't, you might get one or two. Now with a camera you can take hundreds of pictures, and it's pretty much the same with video. We have this incredibly high resolution video, smaller systems that can go down, they can be mounted on little robots, and the imagery that we're getting is just stunning. We're getting more of it, it's less expensive and easier to edit and share with people, and our team here has great skills in doing that, and then also bringing in film crews from around the country. Working with Alpena Community College and their marine tech program, the ROV, or the underwater robot they have, is capable of bringing back this great footage that we can then use in our films or that we share with filmmakers. So it's great. And then the technology of distribution, it can all go up on Facebook or online, and so it's just
social media has been huge.
Completely new world. And back in the 60s and 70s, when people were first finding some of these shipwrecks, one of the reasons that they were encouraged to bring up artifacts and take these precious artifacts from these sites was that there was no other way to share them with people. But now we can leave the artifacts in place, interpret the shipwreck as it is, and really share it with video, almost with the same experience. We've even had 3D films done underwater, which are, again, take you even deeper into the experience of being underwater.
Right, and I know you said you've only been doing the film festival for 3 years, but with technology, even in those 3 years, have you seen better films, last year than you did the first year?
So the Sanctuary has had films made about it for, for over a decade now, but the festival, again, you're seeing more and more creative stuff, you're seeing animations, you're seeing really incredible stuff that are really trying to engage the audience, from very short films, from a 2-minute film to, a full hour-long documentary. So it's fun, and it's interesting to see what's going on around the world. Well, the same issues in the Indian Ocean, for example, may not be the exact same ones we're facing in the Great Lakes. But we are all connected by this, and it really makes you think, what are we doing to protect these incredible resources?
Definitely. Well, Jeff, I want to thank you for sitting down with me and talking today. It's been a real pleasure.
We'll see you at the festival.
Yes, okay. I will be there. And stick around, because after the break, Stephanie Gondula will be with us to tell us what we will see this year at the festival. Welcome back to Insights, everyone. I'm still here at NOAA, and my second guest of the day is Stephanie Gondula. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Now, Stephanie, tell us what is going to be happening this year at the film festival. What are we going to see?
We are going to see lots and lots of movies. We've got at least 30 films, and these films range from a minute long to feature-length films. So, of course, lots and lots of movies at the film festival. And there's also a number of satellite events. We have a filmmakers workshop to start the whole thing off. That's on Saturday, January 17th. There's also some more social events on Thursday night at the Thunder Bay Winery. We're going to have a social wine tasting and watch some previews. watch a few short films. That's going to be at the winery Thursday evening. That's going to be a lot of fun. That's free and open to the public.
Now, you Thursday. What's the date of that?
That is the 22nd.
The 22nd.
Yes.
Okay.
And we're excited about that. The whole festival is a fundraiser for the Friends group. And so the Thursday night, there's going to be a Friends presence there, folks talking about the nonprofit Friends group and the kind of programs that they are able to fund through events like the film festival. A portion of the sales from the wine that night will actually go to the Friends.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So this really is a whole community event then, isn't it?
I'd like to think so. I mean, it really is. We're excited about getting all sorts of people involved. I mean, everything from the workshop, which we'll have, high school students signing up for. There's some senior citizens that have expressed interest in taking the workshop, to the wine tasting, and then to the event in Rogers City, and all the way to the wrap party on Sunday at the Black Sheep Pub, another event that a portion of the sales will go to the Friends group.
Now, besides a portion of the sales going to the Friends group, how do you think this impacts the community?
Well, that's a great question. I really see film festivals. I've personally always been a fan. I've always gone whenever I've had a chance. And they're such an appealing event for a diverse number of folks. I mean, you can pick and choose the types of films you want to see. You can go to a filmmaker's panel and learn directly from the producer, the director, the cinematographer, the cameraman. You can go hang out with the volunteers. There's so many facets to a festival like this that I think are really appealing to the community. Lots of different opportunities to become involved at all sorts of different levels.
Definitely. So anyone in the community who is interested in going into filmmaking, they can come here and meet some of the directors and figure out how they get started in this, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. The Filmmakers Panel, which this year is Saturday at 3 o'clock, is one of the hits of the festival. Last year, I couldn't believe it. The theater was full, and we had to stop the people from asking questions and talking with the filmmakers to keep the festival rolling and to get to the next films. But this year we have at least 6 filmmakers booked that they're coming to talk about their films, to share their films, and then they'll be at the social events, and then they'll be able to interact with the folks coming, and they'll also be in that panel, and they'll all be there and talk about their process, how they thought of their ideas, how they got into the industry, and then be there to answer questions.
Now, can you say who's on the panel, or is it a secret?
Well, I can say some of them, yes. So one of the premiere films we're doing is Project Ice. That's one of the Great Lakes focused films. That film has been just going gangbusters at film festivals all over the country. They've won a number of awards. They're going to be showing Project Ice, that team, on Saturday night. So we have the writer is going to be here, and then also the producer and director is going to be here. And he's flying in from California to come to Alpena for this festival.
That's a big deal.
It really is, and he's really excited about coming. I was like, it's going to be cold, and he's fine with that. I mean, he did just film Project Ice.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sure he's prepared for it then.
Yes. So that is a team that we're real excited to be hosting. We also have the filmmakers who made a short film about the ROV competition this last year, and they made it's about a 8-minute film all about the community involvement for a big event that we do here at the sanctuary, the underwater robot competition, where almost 1,000 people came to the community. They captured that just brilliantly in a short film called Small Town, Big Heart, all about the competition and what it meant for Alpena. These guys, it's a young couple just getting started in the filmmaking business, and they're traveling from Savannah, Georgia.
Wow.
To come.
So people coming from everywhere.
They're really coming from all over.
I'm so excited to come to the film festival myself and see some of the films made about our community. That's got to be so empowering just to watch on the screen.
I think so. It'll be, up on the big screen, shots of Alpena, shots of the sanctuary, and then you can juxtapose that with films from, south of the equator, and films from Antarctica, and films from, the Caribbean. So really a variety of things to see.
Yeah, and you said there's about 30 filmmakers, correct, who have entered videos?
There's 30 films being shown, maybe a little more than 30 films being shown at the festival, and there's so far confirmed 6 filmmakers coming.
Okay. So now, are those filmmakers, are they students, are they researchers, who are they?
That really runs the gamut too. I mean, we've got our professional filmmakers who, professional, they do it for a living, and then we also have the more science-based, these folks that have turned their research into a documentary. So that's another example of a variety of folks coming to partake in the festival.
Now, have you seen, this is the third year that this is going to be happening, have you seen people in the community really get excited and want to start making films of their own?
You know, we've heard word of this, and that's why we launched the workshop this year. We weren't sure, we have our film festival committee, and we've got some professionals on there, and we thought, well, let's try it. You hear about these workshops and at other festivals, and why not try it here? So the tickets for the workshop are selling, and I think it's going to be a neat experience. It's an all-day workshop from 10 to 4, and the plan is for the attendees to really take it from, you know, the thought process, they take it from the idea to the actual making of a film. The name of the workshop is Think It, Sketch It, Shoot It. So clever name. Yeah, so I think what this is really going to do is inspire folks. We're interested in getting students involved. The talk is that we're going to launch a student film competition for next year's festival. We're really excited to do that. That's a lot
exciting.
It is. I mean, kids can make movies as soon as they can really hold a camera, right?
Right.
So,
and with Jeff, we did talk about the technology, how with your smartphone,
Right.
in a couple of minutes you can have made a video.
that's exactly right, and it's happening. I mean, there's film festivals that showcase those films, and if you give students, anyone really, the power, empower them, you know, to tell a story. That's really what it's all about. And if they feel like they can tell a story, I think we're just spreading the news about issues, and I think it's a great way for folks to communicate.
Definitely, I do too. Now, how can people, do they have to purchase tickets to come to the film festival? How can we get involved in the winery, the filmmaking, and actually seeing some of these films?
Yes, lots of details. I know.
Yes.
So we have a package price. So for
Okay.
the whole weekend, which will be Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you can see all the movies. You can come to the social gathering on Friday night, which is going to be a cash bar and hors d'oeuvres. So that package is $50.
Okay.
If you don't want to do the package, you can come just to the Friday night social event, and that's $30, and there'll be films, of course, on Friday night. And then each session on Saturday and Sunday, they're just $5. And so there's sessions all day on Saturday, all day on Sunday. And so you can come see a program, which is essentially a collection of films for just $5.
So
And
that's not too bad.
it really isn't too bad. It's really like a matinee.
Yeah, like going to the matinee,
Right.
definitely.
And then the Thursday night Friends event and the Sunday afternoon Friends event, those are both no entrance, no ticket required, just there's cash bar.
Okay. All right, Stephanie. Well, thanks so much for talking with us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And when we come back, we are going to be talking with an Emmy Award-winning filmmaker. Welcome back to Insights, everyone. I'm sitting here with Ann Bellinger. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much.
Good.
Thanks for
Now,
inviting me.
Yeah, of course. Now, you're an award-winning film artist, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Tell me about some of your accomplishments.
Well, it all began probably back in 2006, 2007 with the filmmaking of November Requiem, which was the Emmy Award-winning film that we produced, my brother and I, Brian Bellinger, and we're the two-part of Bon Ami Filmworks, which means in French, good friend. So, but we were really excited about that. We had it premiered in 2008 at the Roger City Theater, and then it was nominated for an Emmy Award, and it won 2 Emmys, actually, one for Best Director and also for Best Historical Documentary.
What is that like to win an Emmy? That's got to be so exciting and like the peak of your career.
It's it's an acknowledgement as other peers in filmmaking, but we didn't set out with the goal in mind to be award-winning filmmakers. We just really wanted to tell a really good story, and that was the impetus of making November Requiem, was really to tell the story about the wreck of the Bradley and the men whose lives were lost, and also celebrating the women and the community that survived this tragedy.
Now, have you gone on to make films after that?
Yeah, we did. We did A Century in Stone, which we celebrated the 2010, or 2012, of the calcite quarry in Rogers City. And they celebrated 100 years, and it was wonderful. We had a lot of archival images to work with, wonderful stories that were told by the men who worked at the quarry. And then that also was nominated for an Emmy Award, and that also received an Emmy for Best Writing. So we were not anticipating that either. And then we went on to, just this past year, it was wonderful to work with the Sanctuary, and we produced it was the MATE ROV, which is the robotic international competition here in Alpena. And so that'll be shown at the film festival this year.
That's so exciting. I'm going to have to check that one out for sure. Now, as the film festival this year, you're actually on the panel, right?
Right.
And you're the only woman.
Oh,
Isn't that
yeah.
true?
Yeah. in the midst of all the creative men that will be there too, and we're excited. In fact, a couple of the people that will be on the panel, David Peterson, who's with Stonebridge Productions, he was our editor for both A Century in Stone and November Requiem, so he'll be on the panel for a different film that they produced. So I'm excited. It'll be. It's always exciting to work with other filmmakers on a panel because we talk a lot about funding, which is always a big issue in production. And as a producer, it's always a challenge. But you have skill sets that you use. You know, if it's grant writing or if it's working with corporate underwriters, it's really telling that story in a compelling way that you have investors and you have people who are engaged in that process.
Now, when you get together with these other film artists, do you guys ever bounce ideas off of each other come up with new ideas for new films?
Well, I think they're coming from different perspectives. I like a really good documentary. I love a documentary format. That's why I love the International Film Festival, because you are working with other people who are in the same kind of genre that you are, telling that good story, making it educational, making it engaging enough to get people to make decisions or to inspire them to get involved, or to get a better historical understanding. I enjoy the humanities. So I think the filmmakers that we're exposing have that kind of similar talents. So do we share ideas? Yes. I think it's interesting to hear about what's their next project. And I think that's always exciting. You know, you celebrate what you've created, but then you're always looking at the next project.
And when you look at the next project, whatever your next project will be, what's it like, the filmmaking process? What's that like to start off a film, and do you do a storyboard, or how does that work?
Well, working with my brother, who is extremely talented. He's a writer, he's a composer, he's a director and a camera person as well. And editing. He edited the international ROV competition. It's interesting that I think the very beginning, developing the concept, the approach, how are you going to go about telling this story? I always enjoyed the behind the scenes. It's not only the fundraising, but pulling the team together, having a really good team. I like that pre-production stage. And then when we actually start production, I think for me, it's the interview process. You never know in a documentary, it's not like a theatrical film where you have a storyboard, for instance, or you have a script. With documentary, you sort of have an outline and a concept, but it really reveals itself in the process. And I think that's the part for me that's exciting.
Yeah, and how many films total have you made?
There have been, well, including we have the US 23 stories, there's a series there. There's about 8 of films that we've produced so far. We're actually right now in post-production with our film that we're doing on Earl Young, who built the mushroom houses that are in Charlevoix. And those will be premiering that June 8th this year. So that'll be in Charlevoix.
So with each project, you find it very exciting and kind of something new for you?
Oh, absolutely. And it's also the partnerships that we've been able to work with. The people are so talented and so creative, and the support that we've had from the community and like I said, from our partners, it really isn't one person or a couple of people. It's truly a team effort, and that to me is exciting. Even in editing, when you're working side by side with the editor and coming up with creative ideas and strategy, that's the most exciting part. Yeah. And then, of course, when we premiere it, you're on edge because you never know.
Yeah. Do you ever get nervous that people won't like it?
I did only once, and that was with November Requiem, because I live in Rogers City. The story is about the survivors, and the family and the community of in Rogers City. So when we did premiere it to the house that was full that night, you never know. And it was to this day I can remember the emotion because there really wasn't an applause like you would. It was so subdued, and people were crying, and that to me, we touched them where we wanted to touch them, which was in the heart.
Well, yeah, you have to feel like you would have accomplished something when you see all of these people crying from a
Right.
documentary that you made.
Right.
So that's got to be touching.
It is very touching, and to know that it has universal appeal, we thought that it would be more just for the region here, the Northeast region, but it has gone on, it went on to PBS, and there have been people from Texas and people from the eastern seaboard who have been asking for the DVD because it has a human story, and I think people can relate to that.
Well, Anne, I want to congratulate you on all your accomplishments.
Thank you
And
so
I
much.
look forward to seeing you on the panel at the film festival.
Me too. I look forward to seeing you there as well. Thank you.
Yeah, and remember, if you want to attend the film festival, it starts Wednesday, is the kickoff in Rogers City, correct?
Right. Wednesday at the Rogers City Theater, it's at 6:30, there's a reception, and then the film series or the screening will start at 7:30.
Okay, and then Thursday, the 22nd, is when it starts here in town. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Insights into Northeast Michigan is produced by WBKB News. If you have any comments, suggestions, or topics you would like to see on a future show, please email WBKB News. This has been a production of Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation. All rights reserved.